Hey YouTube, what's happening? Chris here. Hope you're having a wonderful Friday night. Sitting here looking at Digibyte, wanted to bring you all a little video here. Gonna dig into a few things, but there's a very important thing that we're gonna have to watch, and it's the close for tonight. The close for tonight, guys, is gonna be crucial. And the reason why it's gonna be so important is because we're either gonna close up above the 200-day moving average, or we're gonna close below it. And you see it right here. We're fighting back and forth right now, guys. We're right on it. We have a lot of wicks up above. So right in this range, there's a lot of wicks, which means there's a lot of profit taking once we got up above that 200-day moving average. Remember how we were talking about we saw rejection here, we came back down, and we got that nice bounce off the trend line, and that's what got us over top of this. So now we want to try to hold this, close above this, and continue this move. So that's going to be to the upside. We're looking for a close up above the 200-day moving average, and that's going to be around 0.0148 is what we want to see a close of today. Alright, now to the downside, what I would look at, if we close below this, we potentially could come back down here and test this 20 EMA. Or I'm sorry, 20 moving average, guys. I had the EMA up, and that's the one I usually use. I don't know how the moving average got on here, so let me switch that quick. I appreciate whoever that was who pointed that out to me, because I love the EMA. That's what I look for. So let's get rid of this one here. Let's go into our indicators. I apologize, guys, but it's something I just want to fix now while we're at it. Moving average exponential, there we go. Alright, and if you guys have never done this, this is basically how you do it here. You just go into this, and then our inputs, we're going to go to 20. Right there. And then our style, let's see. Yeah, this is a good one, guys. Let's just go with that right there. Okay? So that's going to be our 20 EMA. And what I would look for is a bounce potentially off that 20 EMA. It was really strong support as we were climbing up through here. Then we lost a little bit, but we got back up above it. So I want to see if we get a bounce off that, and that's going to be around that 0.0134 area. And if we get a bounce off that, guys, then that should be the bounce, if it comes on volume, to get us firmly up above that 200-day moving average. And the 200-day moving average, that's the long-term investors moving average. A lot of institutional investors and smart investors who are going to hold for the long term, they want us to be up above that. Remember, in the bear market, when we closed below that, that's when price really fell hard. And let me pull this back for us so you can see here. So when we lost the 200-day moving average, look, guys, look how long we've been below it here. This is back in August of 2018. We dropped down through it, then we couldn't get up above it, and we just continued to fall. Now do you see this supply and demand shift, how we're starting to round out, and we're starting to put in higher highs and higher lows? So now the next step is closing up above that and staying up above that, and then continuously moving this trend. We're in that short to intermediate term uptrend right now that's held by this yellow line that I've drawn. Right? So that's what I said. This is getting really exciting for Digibyte, because it's basically at the point now where we're either going to have to start closing above this and continuously moving, or we're going to have to most likely get a bounce off this trend line. And if that doesn't happen, then break through the trend line and go down here and, you know, test some different areas. But I love what I'm seeing here so far. This has been awesome. We haven't seen a ton of volume, but if we can close up above that 200-day moving average, guys, we haven't been there in a long time. And I think that's something important. We've wicked up through it now, which is showing some strength. Obviously, that's where profits were taken, but we got up through it, which is exciting. But now if we really dig into these candles, what we're looking at here, guys, this day candle right here, this is a rickshaw man doji right there. And then we had a little bit more bearish follow through. This is basically almost like a doji as well. See that little block right in there? And then you can have the wicks down here, down there. It's not a perfect one, guys, but we'll qualify. And then this is almost like a shooting star candle. There's a little too much body right now, and there shouldn't be a wick at the bottom, which you can have it, but being a stickler, you don't want it. And then you want that push up to be about twice the size of the body. So we're not there, but we're going to have to see where that close is today. If we're going to close up above that red line as well, or below the red line. So you can see some bulls have been defending, though. We do have the wicks on the downside where price got down there, and then the bulls were saying, oh, we're going back up. So I'm looking at that. Another thing I'm paying attention to is the Fibonacci levels. So I'm going to pull a fib here, guys. And if you've never done this, go over to the Fibonacci there. And we're going to go from this move. This is the move I'm going to be measuring right here. So we're going to go from this low up to here, and we're going to see where some fib levels land here. So we also want to close up above that 0.236. That would be great. that would be awesome. Continue that move there. But I wouldn't be upset, guys, really. I mean, it may take a couple more days if we do fall below the 200, but I wouldn't be that upset if we got to bounce off the 0.382. That's around that 20 EMA as well, and then blast it up above it again. That's very well a possibility. Remember, we look to the upside and the downside. So, you know, guys, on this, that's what I'm looking at so far for Digibyte. Now what we're going to get into, we're going to go into the RSI, and we're just going to see if we see any divergences. Alright, so the relative strength. So we were up to at one point around 74, 73 right in here. So guys, the price is lower here. RSI is higher. Price went up a little higher, but the RSI is lower, but there was profit taking. So just pay attention to that. And what I like to do is also draw a little trend line on it. So I draw something maybe even from right there, and we'll see if we get a break out of that or if we see rejection off that. So that's something I'm going to be watching. And also for support on the RSI, I like to go in there and put a horizontal line, and we'd be looking where we kind of had that double bottom. You see where it came down, hit it, double bottom, and then came up. So, you know, guys, this is awesome. I'm just glad to see that this downtrend has finally slowed down. I mean, look how harsh these moves were. Let me grab a sip of water, guys, 1 second. These moves here, I mean, look at that, guys. That's just falling off a cliff. Look how sharp, until we finally had that shift. And then we had our first higher low, and then we got in a little equilibrium, broke down. Now we're having higher lows. So that's where our trend line comes from, those valleys. And we are having higher highs. So let's see if it continues. Let's see where the close is at today. I'm excited to be here with y'all. We're up 3.28%. Right now, at this very moment, we're up above the 200-day moving average. So that's something to celebrate, that we're even pounding at it right now. We're up above it a little bit right now. It's been a long time, guys. So, you know, do some research on the 200-day moving average and, you know, just dig into it. Hopefully Friday night will be a study night for you. I'm going to spend some family time, so I'm not going to get to that much, but I want to bring this to you. Have a great night, guys. God bless.